And I know it's a bit hot, but I've got a couple of questions I wanted to end on, that we end on with every episode.
Yes.
These are your final 5.
Okay.
They have to be answered in 1 word to 1 sentence maximum, but
okay.
I will probably ignore that rule, as I always do.
Amazing.
So question number 1
Okay.
is, we ask these to everyone who's ever been on the show, what is the best advice you've ever heard or received?
I'm going to cheat slightly, if you'll allow it.
Yeah.
I read Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown. It was given to me as a gift by my friend Anne-Marie for my 30th birthday. And I think that being a good, pious, Protestant English girl, I really believed that if I worked hard enough and if I was kind of saintly enough, that someone would see my good deeds and all of my hard work and like give me the sticker, give me the star. And so a kind of martyrdom was part of my sort of, I understood was important in my, and I think reading her book and reading about pleasure activism, which is sort of the idea that like anything that you need to, that you want to sustain, e.g. justice, e.g. you need it to be easy and you need it to be pleasurable in a way, because that's what's going to mean that you'll be able to do it for a long time. Part of my burnout was that I wasn't prioritizing pleasure and joy as the kind of like underpinning for even some of the harder, more somber, more cerebral things that I was doing. And I think
that's such a great answer.
That changed my life. And I think we also have a model, particularly within activism and in lots of spaces, that like this kind of sole individual charismatic leader. And I, like you, my heroes were always Martin Luther King and Gandhi, and you just saw this sort of like solitary person that was doing that. And I think if I could go back and do anything differently, it would be that when I embarked on some of the public activism that I did, I wouldn't go in the way I did. I would go in with what I have now, which is not just like an activist community. Like I have friends who can give me feedback and who I can talk to, and who I feel that I'm not doing the work alone, solo, however heroic that might look. Yeah, I guess heroicism and martyrdom, the way that it was looked, maybe I just don't believe that's how we'll get the job done anymore. Anything good will get done. So I think that book and I think that idea, that revolutionized my approach.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great answer. It's beautiful. I want to read that book now.
Yeah,
I haven't read it.
Have to. Yeah. You should have her on the podcast.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Question number 2, what is the worst advice you've ever heard or received?
Oh.
So much.
How long have you got? God, mostly just like, I think a lot of stuff around toughen up, bottle it up, deal with that later. Just like subtle versions of like, well, maybe tell the truth, but just not all of it. Just maybe just like tell like a little bit of it, but not like the whole thing, Because like the truth is, the problem with like telling 3/4 of the truth is that then you're sort of in this like constant peeling and unpeeling of yourself, where you sort of like, you're sort of trying to do it, but you're not quite doing it. And I don't know, I think a lot of advice around that. Also, anyone that tells you not to do what you love, terrible advice. Doing what you love will lead you where you need to go, even if you can't see it at the time. Yeah. I was thinking about terrible beauty tips and advice I've been given around like,
go on.
I don't know, just like, oh God, all again, like back to our previous conversation, all the ridiculous things that you are encouraged to try and do as a woman, like fake tan and I mean, it's hilarious. I actually right now, it might be like well covered up, but I accidentally had a bottle of fake tan in my bathroom, and in my jet lag state last night, I thought I was putting moisturizer on, but now I have like these like horrific fake tan marks on my legs and feet. I guess I'm just thinking about just like, oh my God. And recently I was like, okay, I want to get my teeth whitened. And I look like Ross from Friends when he'd had that awful fake tanning accident because they were just way too white. And then I had to go back for 2 other visits to get the dentist to put my teeth back to my normal teeth. So I guess I was just laughing, thinking about like worst advice is just like, don't ever listen to beauty technicians or anyone advising you to do anything weird to your body, face, appearance. Just don't listen. Don't take the bait. Just don't do it.
So good. Best answer ever. Best answer ever. Question number 3. How are you now going to choose work projects or activism differently?
Does the person that's asking me to do something with them, can they confidently look at me and say that they care about me far more than like what we're producing? And do I care about them that way? One of my favorite people I worked with, Steve Chbosky, I remember him leaving what was a very productive rehearsal or script meeting with Logan Lerman, Ezra Miller, and I. And he was like, I need to go and be with my wife now. And we were like, I don't think I've ever heard, I mean, at that point, I certainly hadn't ever heard a director in my career say they needed to leave for a personal reason or for a personal relationship. But I worked far harder for Steve than I worked for any other director because I think I was able to give a far more vulnerable performance in that film because I felt that he really cared about me beyond the product of the film. And I want to work with people like that for whom the process is as important as the outcome, and the people that are part of it are more important than whatever the outcome is. I think this is a really difficult thing that I see everywhere in the world right now, is that we treat objects and things like they're sacred, and we don't treat people like they're the sacred thing. And that switch, I think it causes a lot of pain.
Emma, something that you told me when we were speaking on the phone was that you've been working with the young people on helping them with some of the challenges that you've faced in your own career and your own life.
Yeah.
And I remember being so touched by that. And I wanted to learn more and for you to share it because I just think it's really special. And I was sharing it with some of my team before you arrived and everyone was quite drawn to it. So
as a young person, and as I've basically shared over however long it's been that we've been speaking, I just really needed to be having more conversations with people my own age and people that were older than me. I feel like I tried to navigate so many problems on my own and I just didn't know who to really speak to. And I was speaking to such a narrow group of people about what I was trying to navigate. And I think that working with young people and giving them each other and also the space, the reason, the excuses to talk about the things that we don't talk about or create spaces for has been the most gratifying, the most purposeful and of service I've felt in a long time, because it turns out pretty often that a lot of the things that we're struggling with, other people are struggling with as well. And so in a way, going back around and trying to put out into the world a lot of the things that I knew I needed as a young person and didn't get, it's been the best, most gratifying thing. And I feel really lucky to be in a position and in a place where I can say and know, like I've kind of done this treacherous journey. And I think I might have some ideas about what might be needed for someone to come out the other side of that safely. So it feels good to be of use.
Yeah, I love that. Fifth and final question we ask this to every guest who's ever been on the show. If you could create one law that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
Oh, wow. One law. Okay, there's a couple of contenders. I want to run them through with you. One is going to be...
We'll vote on them.
Okay, great. Perfect. One would be around the importance of telling the truth, or like speaking your truth, or just because I feel like so much chaos is caused by people not being sure whether or not they should, or it's a good idea to, or I think that would be a pretty amazing one. Another contender, I mean, it's the obvious one, is treat other people as you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
That would obviously solve a lot of problems as well.
I like that one you gave.
The last one?
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, the first one. Yeah, the truth. Yeah. I guess it took me a long time, and probably through doing my yoga teacher training, is speaking truth with kindness is one of the first niyamas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very disappointed I can't remember what the word is in...
Not sattva?
Maybe, yeah. Speaking the truth with speaking the truth with kindness.
I think of the
there's an amazing quote, which actually was given to me recently by a friend, which is like, the truth without kindness is brutality, and kindness without truth is manipulation.
Say that again.
Truth without kindness is brutality, and kindness without truth is manipulation. And so when I say like tell your truth, I don't mean going around like just being awful to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean like telling the microscopic truth, and like being willing to have a tolerance for those conversations. One of my favorite metaphors, I actually wrote about this recently, for being in a relationship with anyone is like, it's in a way, it's a dance, it's a fight. Like I think about boxing in the sense of like, who is going to go down to the mat with you and like not tap out? Because being honest about what's really going on is uncomfortable and it's risky. As we talked about earlier, you risk every time you tell the truth of maybe losing someone that you love, because you don't know how they're going to respond to whatever your truth is. But I think to live that way creates the intimacy and connection that I think we long for, and also like sets people free in a way, you and them. Truth with kindness. I think that's going to have to be my choice by factor of deduction.
Yeah, the Bhagavad Gita gives 4 principles for truth with kindness. The first is what you speak should be truthful.
Yes.
The second is it should be beneficial to all.
Ooh.
The third is it shouldn't agitate the minds of others.
Wow.
And the fourth is it should be aligned with eternal wisdom and timeless wisdom.
That's beautiful and perfect, because, I think there's truths which are, if they're not beneficial, that do just agitate. I think that's...
And it's not about not saying it. It's the idea that you've thought so much about how you say it.
Yes.
It's not that you've sanitized it, because that's the modern day version. The Gita is not telling you to sanitize or be silenced.
Right.
It's telling you to filter your thought to make sure that the way you say it is digestible.
Yes.
For everyone who's going to hear it. And therefore it actually has transformative power. It's not that it's not provocative or that it doesn't. It's just that you're not saying it in a way to trigger or get a reaction.
Yeah.
You're saying in a way that hits someone like an arrow of truth.
Wow.
And goes, I have to change.
Wow.
Because that person has been so mindful of how they spoke.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's everything I've just been trying to say about. If everyone was mindful enough about how they spoke their truth, that it could just go straight to the heart. Oh.
Yeah. Rather than hit the ego along the way and the mind. And that's why we can't talk, because everything we say triggers someone's mind or their ego, and then everything we say does it back. And so now we're having a mind and ego debate, which isn't the one that goes all the way to tap, in your...
We're so focused on defending whatever the thing is that we feel that we need to defend, that we just can't
get to the heart.
No, you can't hit the heart. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Emma, thank you for
the
longest recorded conversation in On Purpose history. We had to change the cards, the cameras. We had to and we haven't paused. Just so everyone knows. Just so everyone knows, me and Emma have not moved, so we didn't take a break.
No.
There was no bathroom break.
No.
There was no break of whatever kind.
Coffee
We both
break.
sat. There was no coffee break. We have sat in these seats for the entire duration that you watch this show or listen to it. And so Emma, you have the to your competitive and winning spirit, you have the award for longest ever podcast recording.
I don't know whether to be mortified or like seriously embarrassed or like feel like this is some kind of victory of some kind. I guess you sat here for and not moved for more than 3 hours.
Really, yeah.
Surely.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much. This has been such an amazing conversation.